Saint Central, your black and gold home for the New Orleans Saints.
Who that say they gonna beat them Saints? Who that? Who that? Who that say they gonna beat them Saints? Who that? Who that? Who that say they gonna beat them Saints? Who that? Who that?
Yeah. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your chain for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy, then you probably smell the crooked referees or Roger Goodell. Yeah, probably like this, and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
PRO Media Network.
Welcome. You're now rocking with Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, but we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports fam. I'm up in this thing.
Yeah.
Shout out to the fam. Appreciate you guys being in this episode of the Coma, and like I've been saying for some time now. Shout out to the fam. Appreciate you joining us for this episode of the Coma. As you can see, this one's called NFL Urges Patience in the Firing of Coaches and Executives. Now, this is something that was talked about on Yard Barker. This is an article by Yard Barker that they're showing. And obviously, I talked about this, and just like right on time, they broke this thing out. And I was telling people about this for some time now. And this is something that kind of flew below the radar. A lot of people didn't cover this or talk about this story dealing with the NFL. It's all about money. It's not about loyalty. And the NFL and Roger Goodell is urging owners to not fire coaches and executives. And I'm going to tell you why in just a second. But before you do that, please feel free to hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button if you're not. And please feel free to comment on the show as well. Also, feel free to share the show's social media feeds or on your social media, so the links on your social media feeds rather, for the Coma. We up in this thing. Shout out to the fan. Appreciate you. This was a important article of sorts because it goes into the archives of the show. So it's something that they can never remove. And it goes to show you that it's not about wins and losses as so much as it's always about money. And of course, the NFL came out prior to a month before Black Monday is due to come around. That's when they fire all of the coaches that are crappy. And they're urging the teams, Saints included, to not fire coaches. And this is bad news for the Who Dat Nation, especially if you got a bumbling, stumbling, dumbass coach like we do, who can't motivate a horse to run or a starving person to eat a meal or a thirsty person to drink some water. He doesn't have it. So let's delve into this article, family. NFL urges patience in firing coaches and executives. This is by Eli Allen, written by him. It's also provided on Yard Barker and other areas. It's posted all over the place. But let's go into it. It's become an annual tradition in the NFL, known as Black Monday. That's the day after the regular season concludes. Teams who are upset with the result of their season in one way or another will part ways with the head coach, assistant coaches, or team executives. The carnage isn't reserved only for Black Monday, though. All throughout the season, coaches and other staff are in danger of losing their jobs if it is deemed they have underperformed. Now, that's most certainly what Dennis Allen is. He does fit that criteria. Today, the NFL informed team owners, that's Gail Benson, that the league's 32 franchises have combined to spend, and watch this, they've combined to spend $800 million on fired coaches and front office executives over the last 5 years. Now, according to Adam Schefter, the message was delivered with an intent, delivered with intent and was certainly strategically timed. The league is imploring teams to exercise patience with hopes of trying to cut back on the massive expense of firing people in key high-profile positions. The timing of the message was strategically in weeks leading up to the close of the regular season, when team ownership and decision makers are starting to formulate how they're like to attack the off season. Now let's finish up. Now, let me finish up. Now, each team has provided was provided with spreadsheets detailing employees the team has fired and the resulting cost to the team for each termination. The league wants teams to see the unnecessary expenses incurred by instability in the exact cost for the employees they had paid for services that were no longer being rendered. These details were delivered in hopes that each franchise will heavily consider these numbers as they contemplate making significant changes to their staffs in the offseason. The Giants are notable are a notable example of this. New York is currently paying 3 different head coaches. Pat Shermer was fired 3 years ago, only 2 years into 5-year deal. The 2 years later, the team fired Joe Judge, who only coached 2 years, and a 5-year contract. Both are still receiving paychecks from the Giants, who now employ Brian DeBole as their head coach. Last year saw 9 teams part ways with their head coaches: the Bears, Broncos, Texans, Jags, Raiders, Dolphins, Vikings, Saints, and Giants. 5 franchises, 4 of them listed above, found themselves looking for new general managers, as well as the Bears, Raiders, Vikings, Giants, and Steelers. On average, the league sees about 7 head coaching changes each year. So far this season, 2 head coaches have lost their jobs. Former Panther head coach Matt Rule was fired only 3 years into a 7-year, $62 million contract. Former Colts head coach Frank Wright was also terminated with 4 years remaining on his current contract, leaving approximately $36 million to be paid. Now, the Titans have fired general manager John Robinson with 4 years left on his deal. With these gaudy numbers adding up before the offseason has even approached, it is easy to see why the league is preaching patience. The real question is, will anyone listen? Family bases don't care how much a team has to spend in order to move towards success. If the team decision makers are convinced that the change in leadership is necessary to improve their chances for success, is a penny pinching memo from the league office really going to stop them? History lesson and reason predict the answer to that question is no. If this turns out to be an average year, we have about 5 more head coaches firings coming our way. No telling how many teams will discover a need for changes in the front office as well. The NFL may not want it, but one assumes the Black Monday is as inevitable as ever. So with this is being said, let's delve back into this article, right? And this is what I was telling people for some times. The NFL is telling Gail Benson, let's talk about Gail. I don't care about the rest of them, but they telling Gail Benson and Mickey Loomis at the top that, hey, we have combined to spend $800 million on fire head coaches and executives. Let's not do that. We're preaching patience in the firing. No, the NFL only cares about money. I told y'all that. It don't care about you winning no games. I told you that because it's all about success. Now, the writer says that it won't make a difference. It will make a difference to the Saints because the Saints are looking for any reason to keep that. They're looking for any reason, and they made it up in their minds that they're not going to make a coaching change after one season. Now, let me say this because the writer didn't say this at first. There wouldn't be no need to pay $800 million in bad coaching hires if these dumbass teams would have did the proper research and hired the right people. The fault falls on them for hiring bad coaches that don't fit the scheme. That's what it comes down to. And why did they make the change? Not because they wanted to, because the fan bases or family bases got pissed off at them because they kept losing despite the changes and forced the teams to make a change. Now, the Giants went through 2 bad coaches, and they ultimately find Brian DeBall, and now it's actually working. And that was the hire that they originally should have made. Not saying DeBall, but also just saying that a competent head coach, as opposed to give these other guys that don't know what they're doing. They're not doing their due diligence, and these people are, and it shows. Now, you're not going to hit on all of this stuff, but if you can see, there's a history of dysfunction with the Giants, and they finally hit it on, not to mention what the Jets did. But it is the team's fault that are not doing the proper research and are hiring bad coaches, and the family members are not going to put up with it. They're not going to sit there and be patient with somebody they know is not going to win them any games. And does Goodell give a damn about the Who Dat Nation? You know, Goodell hates the Saints, and now he's trying to give them a memo, say, hey, man, we spending $800 million on the books for this. And guess what? These people are loaded and flooded with money. He talking about $800 million. That's pocket change for the NFL. That's pocket change for them. 32 teams with $800 million worth of back pay money for people that they fired. The league this year, along with the revenues that they're making off these gambling acts, are making billions of dollars, more money than they ever made before. more money than they had before. And this is still not good enough for them to put out memos to tell the Saints, hey, hold on to who you got, at least for another year. And the thing about it is also, and I've told this about a lot of the great Saint think tank and Who Dat Nation, is that the Saints are going to look for every reason at the top to keep Dennis Allen there. They're going to look for every reason to keep him there because they don't want, and I told y'all this, and I'm going to tell you again, now that this guy write the articles, that's even more veritas and true to what I was telling you, that the Saints will find every excuse possible to justify keeping Dennis Allen for a second year. Why? Because that, like I told you before, and I've said this in prior streams, they don't want to spend. Didn't I tell y'all this? I told you guys this. They don't want to spend, not because they're loyal to him, no, or they believe in being patient. No. All this is an attempt to not break his contract. I told you guys this. They don't want to break his contract, which means they'll have to pay whatever his contract is to get him, settle with him, pay him off, get him out of here, and then spend even more money hiring the right guy to come in and fix whatever he screwed up with. That means if you got assistant coaches that you have to break contracts on or whatever, or get rid of them, then that comes along with it. Now, do I care about them spending the money to get rid of Dennis Allen and and getting a new coach in here to fix the job? No, I don't. You know why? Because we've allotted this team, or we've afforded this team tax exempt. They're not tax exempt, but they damn near don't pay no taxes. They don't pay any rent on the domes and they own the arena. Whatever facilities they have, the majority of the money comes from taxpayer money. We give them the majority of all of the concessions, the food, the everything, that high ass food that's in the dome, that at 2 times, 3 times marked up ass gear that was made overseas, all of that stuff that the Saints are selling to Who Dat Nation online or in actual brick and mortar stores down at the arena or at the Superdome. They're keeping all of that money. The Benson Tower, which is right next door to the dome, that was given to them for pennies on a dollar. So what I'm saying is these people we give them all of those plus the tax breaks they get from the state. They barely pay any taxes. They don't pay any rent. They don't pay any utilities. So you think I give a damn about you spending $10 to $15 million or whatever it is to get rid of Dennis Allen and spend another 10 to 15 million or 20 million or whatever it is to get a credible coach in here so we can win games? You damn right I don't care. We've given you everything. And that's how the league is. And that's not just the Saints. Magnify and multiply that by 32 franchises, what I just told you. They afforded the same breaks in all of these cities. That's how the NFL operates. It literally activates and operates as a tax exempt entity. They don't pay any taxes. They're not even classified as a football league, man. They're classified as an entertainment league. It's a bunch of lawyers and they playing games. So in order to usurp what they're doing and press them and push them down to make them do what we want them to do, it's up to you. It's up to you. It's up to me for us to use some discipline. I'm calling the Who Dat Nation to get on code with me right now because the NFL sent this memo out a month before the end of the season. Strategically, like the writer says, to let teams know, like the Saints, who have old leadership at the top. We're talking Gail Benson sitting up there. She don't know much about football, if anything. And Mickey Loomis is old. Lucia and all these guys are old guys at the top. And the young guys they got up there are not running the team. So after 17, 18 years of Peyton, they don't want to go, and they barely wanted to go outside the building and fire or find new coaches to come in and coach. So that's why they stick to guys that they know. And when it failed, they damn sure don't want to go back, break his contract, spend money to do it, and go back into the market to find a credible coach that can fix what's going on. This is all a matter of convenience. This is what this is. And once again, you and me are pushed to the back burner for the demands and the wants of the NFL, the greedy NFL, and the leadership at the top Saints. Once again. So this is why these people are hard-headed. All they see is dollar signs until they see the dollar signs disappear. They see the money fall, and then they won't shake and move and jump toward you. But at the meantime, you got to sit up here and watch subpar football for a guy that don't even know how to head coach nothing. Can't motivate anybody. This is receipts on screen for all the people out there that I've been telling you about getting on code. There's only one answer for what they're attempting to do. One answer for it, and that's to get on code and stand in the face of this and not purchase the tickets. If Dennis Allen is the call for next year, not purchasing the tickets and standing on code and not going and giving these people any more money until they understand we mean business. The Saints don't want to make a trade, make a change at the head coaching position because if it's inconvenient for them, and they rather inconvenience you by forcing you to have a bad coach than to do what's right. And that's a damn shame, because that goes to show you how much these people are really disrespecting us on a high level, that they would rather deal with their own convenience as opposed to make the Who Dat Nation happy. This was a bad hire, and it's very obvious it was a bad hire. But instead of getting rid of the guy, no, we're going to keep him for another year, and then we'll do him that way. We don't have to spend as much money. I told you guys that it's not about no loyalty. It's about the money, and it's about the convenience. For them, it's convenient for the Saints to keep them, and they don't care about our inconvenience. They think you stupid enough to accept this bum-ass bastard sitting on top of the team, stanking it up, losing games, and fumbling away teams ill-prepared. The Saints see the Saints see and hear everything. They hear you in that dome booing that dude when they announce Dennis Allen as the head coach. They hear the boos. They get the emails, the phone calls, and they hear the shows, people saying, and the hashtags on Twitter and Instagram and all these other places, hashtag fire Dennis Allen. They hear all that, and still they're going to try to pretend like they don't see you. Well, guess what? What's good for the goose is what's good for the gander. And in this universe, whatever you put out is what you're going to get. So if you won't play that game with us, we can give it right back to you. That's a damn shame that the NFL would urge the Saints to keep a bullshit coach like Dennis Allen, all because they don't want you to spend any extra money to get rid of a bad hire that they hired. So they don't want you to fix it to the next year, so you don't have to worry about fixing it. So you don't have to spend the money. It's all about the money. Ain't that something? Isn't that something? So anyway, with that being said, man, I'm going to end out on that. I just wanted to touch upon this article right here that the NFL is urging teams not to fire coaches and executives as we get closer and closer to Black Monday, which is the day at the first Monday after the NFL regular season is over with. And that's when a lot of these coaches get fired. We know Cliff Kingsbury is going to get fired. Several other coaches are going to get fired. The Saints should fire Dennis Allen in his first year. He won more games than he ever won as a head coach. He won 4 games in the first year with the Raiders, 4 in the second year, and then got fired in the third year when he went 0-3 or 0-4, whatever garbage it was. Then in his first season with the Saints, he wins 5 games. So he's feeling real cocky on the last press conference. And there I seen the video of him talking in the locker room. He's excited, but you look in the faces of those players in the background, none of them dudes look bucked up about what he's saying, man. None of them look bucked up. The Saints see everything we see. They're going to pretend like they don't hear you, and they're going to pretend like we're going to do whatever we want to do. So since you want to do that, and if that's the call, then we know what we got to do. And we galvanizing, and we getting ready to see exactly what the Saints is and word on the street is. And we've been through that because the NFL was pushing this narrative that they don't want you to fire these incompetent coaches because they want you to hold on to them because they don't want to see the teams spend all of that extra money. Isn't that cold? Keeping everybody, hold on, don't fire nobody because it costs a lot of money to fix the mistakes that you made. It wasn't Big Q that hired Dennis Allen to be the head coach of the New Orleans Saints. It wasn't Big Q. It was the New Orleans Saints that did that. It was Mickey Loomis that done that. But I'm imploring Mickey Loomis and the rest of these people to fix their own error, and I don't care how much money it takes. You tell Gail that we don't care. The Who Dat Nation is ready to boycott you if you keep. That's how bad this guy is. That's how bad the situation is. That we are ready to boycott this dude. If you boycott the New Orleans Saints, not buy your freaking tickets, not buy your stinking merchandise, if you persist with Dennis Allen in 2023. We know we're not gonna get everybody. I know 30-something% of the program matrix living ass people that's going to ride with them on that because they're not thinking, they just clogs in the wheel. But those, I'm not asking for those people. I'm not even talking to you. Really don't exist in this scenario. All I'm doing is talking to the people with brain cells that understand what disrespect is and what this bullshit is, and people who know that they got power. I'm talking to the people that know their position, that they drive the team, that they have the power, by the power, their spending power, their money power, their economic power, which is one of the most effective forms of going or getting people together, to stop doing what they're doing. I'm asking you to implement discipline and form a economic boycott of the New Orleans Saints by not buying tickets, by not buying any merch, not going into none of their events, if this is the call made when the regular season is over with. So we still got 3 weeks of football left. Word on the street is the Saints are going to try to work up a spill, have some of the people that are attached to him the right articles to try to justify him being here. All that, when you see that, you spit on that, you let them know that you won't be played with like that. Let them know that we're gonna stand firm on this thing to get this guy out of here. We won't go through. And it's fitting that they're showing you a picture of Matt Rule here, because I'm constantly using the Carolina Panthers family member situation as they set up there with 3 years of Matt Rule, and all he did was tear that team up. All he did was lied and come up with all kind of bullshit and flim-flammed them people for 3 years and wasted 3 years of their life watching subpar football. Do you really want to go through that with Dennis Allen? Because the Saints, they don't give a damn. They'll force Dennis Allen down your throat. Not us, man. We know what disrespect is, and we're going to stand on it, man. So at the end of the day, that's what it is. NFL is urging the Saints to keep people like Dennis Allen because they don't want to spend the money to fix the mistakes that they themselves made. That's not responsibility. That's not accountability. You won't play with us like that. Anyway, with that being said, I'm going to end the stream on that. Please feel free to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the share button, and make the Sports Coma pop up on your social media feed. Also, feel free to go look in the description section of this video. There are links there that take you to the pro shop. You get your Fire DA shirt, the merch is there, and other merches. We got tons, and literally thousands of items in our pro shops. The hat shop got half a dozen hats and beanies in it. Sports Coma style memorabilia. If you want to help out the stream, feel free to go to the pro shops link in the description section below. We got deals going on during the holidays, up to 25% off on some of the merch. Feel free to check it out as we're getting close and close to Christmas. Get you something that helps out the platform and represent the platform and style. So with that being said, fam, I'm going to get on out of here. Just remember what I said, man. I just wanted to drop this receipts on screen for you guys because this is ridiculous. This is all a matter of convenience for the Who Dat Nation, and they don't care nothing about how you feel about the team. They think they can push anything on you that's disrespectul. You made a bad coaching hire. You need to fire this guy, and let's move it ahead. He was bad. Now, I can understand if the team, and they said, well, Q, because the question is going to come to me as we got 3 games left, Q, is it any way that Dennis Allen does stay in your mind that's effective? If Dennis, now I will say this, if Dennis, and I really don't like Dennis Allen, I want him out of here, but it'll make it extremely difficult. Well, not too difficult, but it'll to that end, it'll make it, really kind of difficult to say, okay, we got to get him out of here if he wins out, which is highly unlikely. But if he wins out and everything falls the right way, the Saints can go into the playoffs, and he gets the Saints in the playoffs and they win the next 3 games against the Browns. You got to go up there in the cold against the Browns in the snow and beat them. Then Jalen, Hurt is out, and you beat the Eagles with Gardner Minshew, and then the Carolina Panthers on the back end. If the Saints can win 3 games in a row and stuff happens with Tampa and they lose some games and the Saints are able to sneak in the playoffs that way, then that would justify you keeping them for another year, because they basically got into the playoffs and you still got to the playoffs. So you wasn't there last year, but he gets you there this year. Then you would have to say, okay, on the back end of the season, he earned him another year. But if it don't fold like that, which I don't think it is. A lot of stuff is kind of shaking up right now. McCoy came back. The Saints ran the ball a little better. If they can run the ball, they'll have some success. But we see so many Three Stooges style plays because they're ill prepared in certain situations. They always at the wrong time shoot themselves in the foot. They had the fumbles. The guy fumbled the ball away on a scoring drive, and then one of the final plays offensively, Taysom Hill fumbles the snap. Who does that? You know, this team is not prepared to play football. That's why their record looks like that. So he hadn't won back-to-back contests, but in a world where you're saying, how does he make it? And make it difficult to remove him to a degree is if he wins the next 3 games and then gets the team into the playoffs by way of Tampa Bay giving us some help. Now, if that happens, then it justifies him being for another year because he did something that Peyton didn't do last year. He got the team back in the playoffs. The problem with that is Dennis Allen's never he hadn't won back-to-back games this entire season. The last time he won back-to-back games was, I think, in the first year of his administration with the Raiders when he beat the Jags and then the Chiefs. And not saying that the Browns are a juggernaut, but the Saints having problems stopping backup rookie running backs. The guy ran for 150-something yards on him. And the dude could fix it if he decided to go and get a veteran nose tackle and bring him into the team to help clog up the middle. But the dude don't do anything. He do the same things over and over again. And the defense, that's not a good sign that the defense is still surrendering chunk yardage like that. That's how you got the Cleveland Browns, and they're not a juggernaut, but they might as well be. You got a scrambling quarterback, which the Saints defense stink at stopping, and they got 2 really good running backs, and Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. That's going to run all over you because the Saints can't stop the run. So they can't stop that. It's 2 really difficult things the Saints got to do against the Browns. That stop Deshaun Watson, which he's a mobile threat. That's a problem, and they can't stop the run. So they are strong where the Saints are weak unless the Saints turn into a team defensively and able to play 60 minutes of football. You know, that's a lot to ask him. He's not bringing anybody in here to help clog up some of the spots that need to be clogged up. You get a big defensive tackle, veteran guy, and put him in there. That helps out stop the run, but he does the same shit over and over again. So this is foolish on many levels. I do not expect Dennis Allen to win any more games. I think the game against the Falcons was the last one. And I'd be surprised if he beat the Browns. I'd be surprised if we win more than, I guess I can give him 1 game maybe against the Panthers or, whatever. But we'll see, man. But at the end of the day, that's the only scenario I see. But the Saints making it up their mind, they were looking for a reason to keep Dennis Allen. Even if Dennis Allen loses all these games, the Saints still going to bring him back for another year saying, let's see if he can fix what he did wrong. And that's totally not the right answer that I'm looking for. This is a bad coaching hire and giving him more time to sit on top of a team that he couldn't even win. And this is a team built for the playoffs, and he couldn't even take them now. You expect you to know that Dennis Allen can lead a rebuild? No, man, absolutely not. He can't capture the locker room. He's a deceitful, lying wretch. And on top of that, man, most of the team don't like how he handled Jameis. He's an idiot, and we don't need him here. Anyway, NFL trying to say Saints keep him. And the Saints, we'll see. I think they're stupid enough to listen to the NFL and greedy enough to listen to the NFL, to be honest with you. I really feel that way. But we know what we got to do. Anyway, with that being said, I'm going to get on out of here, man. Y'all have a good day. I'm going to holler at y'all on the flip side. Who that to you? And I'm out.
Yeah. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a Falcon. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shame for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy and you probably smell the crooked referees are Roger Goodell. Yeah, funny like this and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that at. Where we do that at. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that at. Boogie like this and I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Say they gon' beat them Saints. Who that? Who that? Who that say they gon' beat them Saints? Who that? Who that? Who that say they gon' beat them Saints? Who that? Who that?
I'm just trying to give you something to get out there for you. I'm just trying to give you something. Something to get out there for you. I'm just trying to give you something.
Check out the Pro Shop. That's right, the Pro Shop is the platform store where you can go and buy all the latest merch to support the platform. Available at the Pro Shops, we have dozens of hundreds of products available for you and your family. Unisex tees for men and women, hoodies and sweatshirts, tank tops, kids and baby items, long sleeve tees, mugs, pillows, wall art, bath bedding, face masks, phone cases, stickers, bags, fanny packs, socks, hats, and many other items. Please feel free to check out the Pro Shops. The link is in the description section below. And remember, it helps the platform continue to grow. Check out the Pro Shop and Who That too.
TheWhoThatDaily.com. That's right, TheWhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, even the top flight boxing news. So if you're a Who That and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, TheWhoThatDaily.com is your site. TheWhoThatDaily.com for the sport Who That in all of it.